ready to go. That's what Ben Johnson said when it comes to getting going in training camp for Caleb Williams and this football team. Now, I am filming this after the first practice, and Ben Johnson wasn't very happy with the offense in the first practice, but there is still a lot to take away from both what he said and what Caleb Williams said yesterday, that being Tuesday, of course. So I did want to do a video on this. Now, here's what Ben Johnson had to say about the growing relationship with his quarterback. He said, "We're ready to go. The governor's off. He and I have been talking all spring, all summer, constant phone calls, constant conversations. We're at a great place. He wants to get coached hard, and we're going to push him as hard as we can and do what's best for the team." Sounds like that's already happened. Caleb said this about his head coach. He said, "It's been growing. It's been awesome. We're having fun. He gets on me, and it's greatly appreciated that he does, being tough on me and realizing that nobody is above anybody. All of us are one, and that's how we are going to march this season." And I think you always have to set a foundation in any relationship before you can actually start to see results of what you're trying to accomplish, right? And we talk about this QB head coach relationship all the time. You could tell on Hard Knocks last year, like, when Eberflus would bring in Caleb for like these post-practice conversations, it just wasn't natural. It just wasn't a fit between the two guys. It was a older, kind of defensive-minded, not modern type of coach in Matt Eberflus, and Caleb Williams, who's kind of this Gen Z, fashion guy who is into more modern things and is obviously an offensive guy at quarterback. Ben is much easier to relate to, really, I think, for any player if you just listen to them talk, but especially a quarterback, being an offensive guy who's played the position, young guy, who's coached under Dan Campbell, yada, yada, yada. So it sounds like these two guys, the relationship's been growing and ascending at a nice pace over the last few months. Now, let's talk about goals, because we all have them. I have goals for this show. I have goals for other things in life. Hopefully you guys do as well. And Caleb Williams has goals for this year. He set two specific ones that he at least told the media for individually. Then obviously he talked about, the ultimate goal is to win, go score points, yada, yada, yada. He said that his two individual goals are this: become the first 4,000-yard passer in Bears history. That's obviously something that we are all rooting for. It's a tired storyline that we have to talk about every year. It'd be nice just from a Bears content creator standpoint and fan for this to be put to rest, but obviously that would be a good accomplishment for him. And one that's he's looking to strive for, but also has been Ben Johnson influence, is, hey, let's strive for 70% completion percentage, which that's a big number. Like, that's not just some small feat. I think that's actually much more difficult than throwing for 4,000 yards in today's NFL. And look, it would be a big jump, right? 7.5 percentage points from 62.5 to 70. Now, I think we can all expect a natural jump of at least a few points. Ben Johnson should just, with his offense, just scheme easier completions, and the offense should just be less choppy in general, and that should lead to a jump. I think I said on a prior video, 65, 66% is something I would like to see. 70%, that would be a major uptick, and that would be a massive development, especially if increased aggression is part of his play as well. Like, if he creates more explosives and the accuracy were to jump that high, I mean, that would be majorly significant, which is why I'm more of in the, hey, we in that 65, 66, 67 range with increased explosiveness. I'm a pretty happy customer going from year one to year two. Here's what Ben Johnson had to say kind of about this goal. He said, "We have goals that we strive for. It's not a secret. I told him that I would love for him on the season to complete 70% of his balls. It's a lofty goal, but it's one that we're going to strive for. Because of that, we're going to use that as our benchmark and work from there." And look, he said it. Yeah, it's lofty, but I like that he's setting the expectations high. Like, we shouldn't set low expectations. I don't think I was doing that. I was more of, hey, if we get a 3 to 4% increase with increased aggressiveness, I think that would be a nice jump. But yeah, let's shoot for 70%. Let's throw for more than 4,000 yards. And I also think that part of why you'll see the percentages go up is, while the goal is to create more explosives, that doesn't necessarily have to be with a more vertical passing attack. If you watched the Lions the last couple of years, a lot of their big plays are just Jared Goff getting the ball into a playmaker's hands and letting him work. And the Bears have a lot of playmakers on this offense. And a lot of what Ben Johnson did in Detroit, and I would imagine we'll see here, is a lot of quick game. 3-step drop, ball out, get it to a playmaker on time and on target. Here's Bill Zimmerman, who covers the Bears as well. He said, keeping a passing game short and quick, giving your QB a lot of quick and easy options, and making the intermediate and deep, mixing in the intermediate and deep balls is exactly what kind of offense the Bears should be running. And it's the type of offense just about all great offensive coaches run. And I've talked about this before. Yes, the deep ball accuracy was an issue for Caleb last year. It clearly has to improve. You know who else struggled with it early on in his career? Joe Burrow. A, it got better, and B, and I've talked about this too, how many pure, true deep balls a game does any team in the league actually throw? The number's pretty small. And I'm talking about just goes, posts, wheels, just pure obvious go balls. You don't throw that many of them. So, like, if you can master the quick and intermediate game, that's actually more important. And then obviously sharpen up the deep ball game because you do want to hit those home runs sometimes. That's it. I'd much rather have my quarterback be more accurate and more consistent in the short and intermediate game than the deep ball, because those are a higher volume of passes, especially the quick and just fast game, because it's all about timing and just getting the ball to your playmaker's hands. All the good offenses in today's NFL do that. I mean, Patrick Mahomes last year had one of those A-dots in the league. He didn't have his best year, but like he's just getting the ball out. So I think that's something you see a lot of these teams do. McVay with Stafford, Brock Purdy, all these guys. They do a lot of quick game. Now you look at the 70% club last year. Only 5 guys. There were a couple others, but it was like Joe Milton. He played 1 game, so that doesn't count. All these guys played most of the year. Tua missed 4 or 5 games, but he's always been very accurate. A lot of quick game in Miami. Jared Goff, Ben Johnson, a lot of quick game, short, intermediate passes. Baker, I mean, how many screens and quick throws did Liam Cohen call for him last year? Joe Burrow, they will throw it vertical a decent amount, but a lot of their offense is intermediate, over the middle type of throws. Same with Geno Smith, especially last year. Geno, they had, I'm forgetting his name, that air raid offensive coordinator. So they were just, what was his name? Ryan Grubb, who has now left. But yeah, a lot of these offenses have similar concepts. You're not throwing deep posts every third route. And I think a common denominator too is all those teams have pretty damn good weapons. I mean, Bengals speak for itself. Bucks have maybe the best receiver core in the league. Tyreek and Waddle in Miami. Seattle had pretty good weaponry last year with DK still there, and obviously JSN. And I think the Bears have a lot of what those teams had last year, not only with the weaponry, but easily schemed up completions for the quarterback, especially with Ben Johnson coming here to Detroit. Mike McDaniel, that's one thing he does a really good job at in Miami. He schemes a lot of good, easy completions for Tua. So I think the Bears have the best of both worlds, where they have a play caller who's going to generate easy opportunities for Caleb to get the ball in playmakers' hands, but they also have the playmakers to then do something with it. What did Ben Johnson say in the spring at the owners' meetings? We want receivers who can make plays with the ball in their hands, yards after the catch. DJ Moore, one of the best in the NFL historically at doing that. Rome Odunze's got a decent amount of that. Luther Burden, who we'll see what's going on with him as camp goes on, but if he's right, he was the best player in this draft by a mile with the ball in his hands. Zacchaeus, yards after the catch, had a lot of them last year in Washington. So I think layups are going to be there for Caleb. It seemed like they never would generate layups with Shane Waldron last year for whatever reason. Everything just felt too complex. But like if you can master the quick game, the easy stuff, and then open things up from there and hit them over the top once they kind of cheat forward, then you're cooking with gas at that point. So hopefully that's some of the stuff we're going to see this year. Will Caleb Williams complete 70% of his passes in 2025? Type Y for yes, type in for no. I'll say no. I just don't think that's very likely, but I don't think you'll see an uptick. I think it'll be north of 65. Somewhere between 65 and 68 would be my guess. You want this cutoff hoodie? You can get it. Picture of it right there. It actually is even more navy in person, which is more the Bears navy blue, which is awesome. 40% off, limited time only. These bad boys were $55. Now they're $33. Very comfortable, very not like overly stretchy, but it's just an easy fit. And you can wear it out in the summertime into the fall weather as well. Get one today, 40% off if you're heading to training camp. You're going to want to rock one of these. Chatsports.com/Bears hoodie. Absolutely awesome. Limited time only, $33. Go do it. Okay, Caleb working on his craft as well. So he also spoke about some specific things he's been working on with his game during the downtime heading back up into training camp here. Obviously, they've had their first practice now. He said, my footwork and lining that up with the specific play. That helps accelerate the clock for me. The other part is being decisive and making the decision. Also just taking what the defense gives me, not trying to find that big play every time. Sometimes it's just a check down or something that may not be more than 5 yards. And I think the key, both for him and for Ben, as the architect of this offense and play designer and play caller, is finding that balance. And Ben's talked about that. We don't want to eliminate the big play ability, the play after the play from Caleb's game, but also we do need to do a better job of getting the ball out and on time. And something Ben had Caleb work on too, something that stood out to him in OTAs, was short throws to the left in particular at OTAs were something he had Caleb as part of his kind of homework assignment in the off-season period before they came back for training camp. So it's just the specific details that we keep hearing that gets me excited about what could happen here. But yeah, finding that balance, because Caleb can do things to generate big plays that a Jared Goff couldn't. But Jared Goff became, under Ben Johnson, perhaps one of, if not the best quarterback of just playing on time. I don't think Caleb's going to be as good as Goff at playing on time, but if he can get much better in that area while also generating 3 to 5 awesome plays per game that move the sticks when he's creating something with his arms or legs, like that's that balance you're looking for, and knowing when to utilize that tool in your kind of your tool belt there. If you're Caleb, that's going to be the key as well. So, it's going to be fascinating to see how it plays out. There's going to be some bumps in the road, but the potential's all there, and we're hoping it all comes together here. Subscribe to the channel because training camp is here and we have full coverage every single day. We put out our day one training camp reaction video earlier today, so don't miss out on that. Hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications. If you go to the content tab, you'll see our video from earlier and all of our other content in there as well. Here was an interesting nugget also, as Ben Johnson said yesterday that, yeah, until the pads go on, we don't really know what our run blocking scheme will be yet. We don't know if we'll go wide zone, if we'll go gap. I think they're going to utilize a little bit of both, but the key here is among the 5 starting offensive linemen, what do they all do best as a cohesive unit? Because 1 or 2 of the guys might be better in gap, but if 3 or 4 are better in zone, then they'll probably do more wide zone running scheme. Here's what he had to say on that. He said, we got to find out who we are. I'm going beyond the quarterback here. I don't know if we're going to be a wide zone team up front. I don't know if we're going to be a gap team. There's a lot of things that have to play out, and we won't know until the pads come on. Here's what I like about Ben. Number 1, he's not a bullshitter. He's like, yeah, like, there's certain things that aren't settled in the offense. We're still figuring things out. The pads got to go on. We got to figure out what we do best in certain areas. And he's been clear from the jump, and he said it when he was talking about this offense. I'm not going to copy paste this from Detroit. This offense will be built and designed with Caleb Williams in mind. But I think it goes beyond Caleb. It's the entire group of players, especially that new offensive line that we know has a ton of individual talent, and if it comes together, could be really good. But they still have to figure out what the 5 of them together do best. So I like just the humility of it, of like, I'm not going to force my ideas or scheme onto you. A, I'm smart enough to run different type of things. And B, we're going to do what's best for the talent we have and potentially throughout the course of the season based on the defenses we're playing. I would guess they have some wide zone and gap kind of plays and schemes in there. And against certain teams, they might mix it up more. So that gets me excited as well. Obviously, we're 1 day into this camp. Pads aren't going on for a few days. So it's kind of a slow build-up here. But you listen to this guy talk, and you're like, he knows what he's doing. Like, we just have to trust that he's going to get this offense to where it needs to go. Do you trust Ben Johnson? Because I do. I feel good about what he's going to be able to do with this offense, and then ultimately, the players and at some point, Caleb Williams is going to have to prove that he can handle it all and be that guy. Type T for trust, type D for don't. Give us your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, that's going to do it for this episode of Chicago Bears Now. Appreciate everybody who made it to the end of the video. If you're following me on Twitter, that's awesome. DMs are open. If you don't, give me a follow. I'm tweeting constantly throughout training camp about updates and things happening both around the Bears and the NFL. So come show some love over there. Give me a follow, and we'll see you guys next time.